Hello everyone, welcome back to another session of Core Java tutorials. In today's lecture, we'll be seeing what are Java arrays. An array is a collection of similar type of elements which has continuous memory allocation. In Java, the array is an object which contains elements of similar data type. And it is a data structure where we store similar elements. We can store only a fixed set of elements in the Java array. And array in Java is indexed based. The first element of the array is stored at the 0th index, and the second element is stored at the first position, and so on. So, say for example, there is an array of size 5 elements are there in the array. So, this is the first element. So, 12, 32. Okay, so then we have 4, then maybe 5, and then 7. So this is the first element of the array, which is 12. 12 is stored at the 0 position, and 32 is stored at first position, and 4 is stored at the second position, index 2, and then 5 is stored at index 3, and 7 is stored at index 4. Okay, and this entire storage is accessed through a reference variable, so which is the name of the array. Okay, so we'll be giving a name to the array, which is called as the object reference. Only through this particular object reference we can access the elements of the particular array. So here we can get the length of the array by using the length property. So length is considered to be a property, or it's an attribute which can be used to find out the number of elements in the array. So in this case, the number of elements in the array are 5. So say for example, this array is given a variable which is ARR. So ARR is the reference variable of this particular contiguous memory allocation, which is ARR, which is also called as the name of the array. So to get the number of elements in this particular ARR, you can say ARR dot length. Okay, so we can say ARR dot length. So ARR dot length will return 5 for us because the number of elements in the array are 5. So array is an object of a dynamically generated class, and so we'll see what are the advantages of an array. The advantages of an array is like we can get to any location of the array, so random access is possible in an array. But the disadvantage is that the size limit. Okay, so you need to mention the size beforehand. So that is the disadvantage. Coming to random access. So if I want to access this particular element, so I can say ARR2. So ARR of 2. Okay, so this is the index number. So directly I can go to this particular element without navigating through 0 and 1. So that is what is called as random access, and random access is possible by using the array data structure. Okay, so there are different types of arrays in Java. The first one is the single dimension array, which we also call it as one dimension array. And the second one is the two dimensional array. Okay, and two dimensional array, and above it, which is again called as multi-dimensional arrays. Okay, so these two type of arrays are can be created in Java. So now let us see what is the syntax of creating an array. So the syntax is that you will be giving the data type. So after giving the data type, you will be giving the name of the variable. So the name of the array variable is ARR, and followed by that you need to give the dimension. So how many dimensions you want, that many dimensions you will be given. So in case if I want one dimension, I will be giving one dimension like this. Okay, so that will be equal to, so since I said like array is an object, so you need to say like new, and then the type of the data type is integer, so I need to mention that new int, and then the size is mentioned over here. So I said new int of 5. Now what will happen when I give this particular statement is that, so inside your heap, okay, so arrays are stored in the heap. So the memory allocation is done on the heap. So when I said like the size of the elements, 5 represents the number of elements that I need in the array. So 5 into, now what is the size of an integer? So the size of the integer is 4 bytes. So 5 into 4, which is equal to 20 bytes. So 20 bytes of memory is allocated on the heap. Then it is referenced by a reference variable, which is ARR. Okay, so this ARR will be stored on the stack. Okay, so this is how you need to declare an array. So not only declaring it in this way, I can also say int and then followed by the number of dimensions. So say I just want single dimension, I can say int single dimension ARR is equal. Okay, and then the new int of the size of the array. So I can put the square brackets here also after int. And also I can put this as square brackets before the reference variable. So I can also say square brackets and I can also say AR of this equal. Okay. So with this idea, now let us write a program to declare, instantiate, and initialize and traverse the Java. So I'll be creating a one-dimensional array. For that, I'll be needing a scanner class. So I said import java dot dot star, and now I'm giving my class. So the class is name. So I just said class name, and now then I said public static void name. So this is string logs. String logs. Okay. So this is also an array. So which is an array of string type. Okay. So public class name. Okay. So now I'll be declaring an array. So single dimensional array. So which is of integer type. So array is a homogeneous collection of data elements. So all the elements inside the array will be of integer type. So I said int a is equal to. So now I'm instantiating it. So I'm saying new int and the number of the elements that I require in the array are 5. Okay. So I have done the declaration and instantiation. So what exactly I did here is I have declared an array and I have instantiated an array. Instantiation means that I have created an instance of an array, which is nothing but creating the object. Now I will be initializing the array one by one, taking each and every index and I'll be initializing. So a of 0 is 23. Then I said a of 1 is equal to 56, and then a of 2 is equal to 90. So likewise, you can initialize. So I'm saying a of 3 is equal to 21, and then a of 4 is equal to 1. Okay, so as you can see that there are 5 elements, and the 5 elements will start from 0. Okay, so 0 is the first element. 1 will be at one index, I'll be having second element and so on. So I'll be having, if there are 5 elements, then the index will be 5 minus 1, which is 4. So this is how I have initialized. So this is initialization. So let me put some comments. Initialization of the array. So I have declared, instantiated, and also initialized the array. Now I will show you how to traverse through the array. Okay, so to traverse through the array, I'm taking a loop. So I said for loop, and I'm taking an iterative variable, which is I. So I'm initializing I to the first index of the array, so which is 0, and then I'm saying I is less than 5. Okay, so since there are 5 elements, it should traverse to 5 minus 1, which is 4. Okay, so then I say 5 plus plus, and then I have system dot out dot println, and I want to print the elements one after the other in the same line. So I'm taking off ln over here and then plus the name of the array is a and then a of I. Okay, so this is how I'm traversing. Now what will happen here is I will be 0 first. Okay, so I will do 0 first. So in the print statement, what I said is I said a of 1. So which means that a of 0. Okay, so a of 0 is nothing but 23. So 23 will be printed. And then since I don't want it to the next element to print on the next line, I will print only, I will do print ln. So there will be a space, and then what happened? I gets implemented. Now I will be 1. So take a of 1 now. So a of 1 is nothing but 56. So 56 will be printed here. Then a space, and then 90 will be printed. Then 21, and then 1. Okay, so I need to be very careful while giving this condition over here. In case if I give it less than or equal to, so I'll be getting an array index out of bounds exception because it will navigate from 1 to 5. Okay, so there is no element at index number 5. So you need to be very careful while navigating, traversing through the index like this. Okay, so let me execute this and show you. So I made it Java file. Okay, so let me execute this program. So you can see that I got the output as I said, like 22, 56, 90, 21, and 1. So these are the elements of the array that I have taken. Okay, so what did we see here? So in this particular program, we have seen how to declare and how to instantiate. So instantiation is creating the object of an array. So that's what we have done. This is declaration. And then this all this process is initialization, and this is how I'm traversing through the array. And show you another procedure of initialization. So without giving this instantiation, I can directly initialize the variables. So I'll show you how to do that. So I can simply take this off, okay, and I can give an open bracket and a close bracket and the semicolon. So inside this curly open bracket and close bracket, I'll be giving the elements one after the other separated by commas. So I just create those elements. So all the 5 elements are here. So how this is processed is that. So this is another way of initialization. So this 23 will go into A of 0, and this 56 will go into A of 1, and 90 will go into A of 2, 21 will go into A of 3, and 1 will go into A of 4. Okay, so let me show you the output of this. So you can see that I got the same. Okay, so I can also do it in this manner, or else I can also do it in the way I have told you. So this is how I have initialized the elements. If you don't want to initialize, you want to take it through the for loop. If you want to the elements of the array to be read from the user, so I'll show you that procedure. You need to use the for loop for that. Some link. Okay, so also int, and then I'm giving the number of elements to be 5. So I have declared and initialized. So now I'll be reading the elements. Okay, so read into array from the keyboard. Okay, so I'm reading the elements into the array from the keyboard. So I'm navigating it using the for loop. So I need a for loop. So I is equal to 0, I is less than or equal to 5, and I is less. Okay, so now what I'll be doing is I'll be reading it from the user. So I need this little package. So I'm saying import java dot scanner class. Okay, so I'm taking in the scanner class, and then I need to create the object of the scanner class. So I say scanner is equal to the scanner. Okay, so I want it from the keyboard. So I'm saying system dot. Okay, so this is how I have declared it. Okay, so now I'm reading in. So before reading in, I just want to tell the user like what he wants to enter. Since the system dot out of println, so I'll say enter A of. So what is it? It is A of 5. So closing bracket and the column. So now the user will be entering the A of 0 also. So in A of I, so A of 0, so what you need to do is you are reading it from the keyboard. So I'm saying SC dot next. So this will actually read the elements from the keyboard. Okay, and this is how I print the elements on the console. Okay, so let me execute this and show you. So now you can enter the elements. So 23 and then 89, okay, minus 12, minus 31, okay, and so on. So you can see that these are the 5 elements you read into the array, and this is the traversal of the array. So each and every element is printed on the screen. Now one very important point that we need to keep in mind is that the size of the array. Say for example, I have given equal to here and let us see how the program behaves. So when I have given less than or equal to, and I'm trying to give some elements. Okay, so it is taking the elements, the fifth element also it is trying to do it because the size of the array is only to hold 5 elements, but here the fifth index means that the sixth element. So there is no location to store the sixth element. So that's why it is throwing me an exception, which is array index out of bounds. So and it is clearly saying index 5 out of bounds for length 5. Okay, so you need to be very careful when you are giving this less than this condition over here when you are navigating or traversing through the array. So make sure that the bounds are proper. Okay, so instead of to avoid such kind of problem, so we'll see one attribute which is called as the length attribute. So we can use the length attribute to avoid this. So the length attribute is used to find out the number of elements inside the array. So the index number, for example, if there are 5 elements, so the index should be from 0 to 4. Okay, so the last index will be the whole number of elements in the array minus 1. Okay, so keeping this in mind, so we'll try to use that length over here. So I'm saying less than or equal to. So now I'm saying what is the name of the array? The name of the array is A. So I said A of A dot length. Okay, so this is what we have done here. I want all of you to take a look at this. So instead of giving 5, I said A dot length. Okay, so there is no parenthesis over here. It is simply length. Okay, so it's simply length. Now, what does this repeat? This will repeat 5. Okay, so A dot length is nothing but 5. Okay, so A dot length is nothing but 5. So I'll get 5. So instead of writing 5, you can also say A dot length is equal to A dot length. Okay, so let me execute this and show you the output. Okay, so this is the first element, second element, third element, fourth element, and fifth element. So you can see that it has stopped it here. So you needn't worry about whether you're giving the bounds properly or not with the use of length property. So I can say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is. So this is regarding using the for loop to traverse the elements of an array.